Hi, my name's Joe.
And I'm Lydia.
In the last episode, we successfully built our new scaffold.
And in this episode, we're going to rebuild the chimney, which we can now access using our scaffold. At first, I thought we could just repoint the chimney, which is to replace the mortar in between the bricks. But the more we've looked at it, the more we think it needs a full rebuild, and there's a few reasons for this. The mortar, as you can see, is really soft and crumbly, like it's just coming away as I brush at it. Also, some of the bricks, like this one here, have really been damaged. The face has come away from them. There's also plants growing out of it, which of course really unhelpful. Those roots are destabilising the stack, so we want to be able to completely remove those and make sure they're not going to grow back at all. I'll just show you a few interesting features of the chimney from on top. So if we come up here, see a nice little view, can't we? You can see that some of the bricks, I can literally just pick it up. There's a few interesting points. So the mortar, normally you'd expect mortar to be a white or grey colour, but it's black here, and it's referred to as black mortar in the local area. Maybe it was made from coal dust or some other byproduct of the coal industry around here. We're going to have a look now down the second flue. I haven't looked down here yet, I don't know what there is. What I can see is that there's a slate that's been put on the top of this. That's quite an effective means of stopping water, I should think, since slate is really quite non-porous. And there's a small amount of cement been put on top. So let's see if we can remove this now, hopefully without knocking anything down. I'm a bit nervous because it's quite heavy and there's a piece of cement come off there. I'm nervous about any loose bits falling down and damaging some slates on the roof below. Right, there we go. I'll take a few bricks off and see what else I can see. As you can see, these are just lifting away ever so easily. I'm very nervous about dropping a brick down the chimney and causing damage down the bottom or to the flue going down, because we know it's very old, we know it's had very little work done to it. There's an awful lot of slugs living in it, earwigs. There's not been a fire on this chimney for at least 20 months now. Oops, something's just fallen down the wrong side. Just a bit of mortar, I think we're all right. This is much easier, having such a large, sturdy platform to work from. They're probably 200 years old, and having been heated and cooled, been out in the wind and the rain for all of that time, I think they've survived pretty well, really.
So obviously in this process of rebuilding the chimney, we have a lot of bricks that have come down. Some of them have a large amount of mortar left on the bricks. So I'm just cleaning up, going through all of the bricks and cleaning them up so that they're in a fit state for reuse. So they go from this state with the mortar on to a nice clean brick with clean surfaces for the new mortar to stick to over here. This is slow, slightly tedious work. Okay, when I've cleaned up a face, then I take a wire brush to the brick. I chisel away. You scrape away at some of the other faces as well while I'm at it. To give the brick one final going over. And there we go, one nice clean brick.
So I'm here up at the chimney, and we've just put on 2 courses of bricks above where we're taking the chimney down to. I've also done some repointing, so it might look like I've put on more bricks than I actually have. we're now 2 layers up above the top layer of flashing. So flashing is the lead part that goes around the bottom of the chimney, and it steps up the side there, and that helps the water, which is falling as rain, to make sure it doesn't get between the gap between the chimney and the slate. So it's directing the water so it flows down the slates. However, in modern chimneys, there's also a lead sheet DPC. It's called a lead tray, and it's a whole piece of lead that completely covers the inside of the chimney, goes all the way across, and they just leave a small hole for the flue liner to go through if you're going to use the chimney. We decided we didn't want to do that because we're not sure if we'd want to use the other flue in the future, so blocking it up with a lead tray seems like it could be problematic. And we weren't even really sure about which flue liner we're going to put in, what size, where it's going to go, so we didn't really want to risk putting the wrong thing in and it being a problem later. It's also quite expensive. So instead we're going for a more traditional option using slate. Now this is not very common, but slate was used as a DPC when building the foundations of an old cottage in the walls, the way that plastic DPC is used now. So what we've done is we've cut some old slates that we've got so that they're the width of a brick, and all we're going to do is just a single layer mortared on around the top of the bricks here. And the purpose of this is so that once we've built the chimney up, it will come up to about here. When it rains and those bricks all become saturated with rain, that water is not able then to percolate down through the chimney stack and into the house. So when it comes down through those bricks and hits this DPC layer, we hope that will then stop the flow of the water, and it'll either just stay in those bricks, so those wet bricks will then dry out again, or I suppose some of it might come out to the side here. Okay, so that's what the purpose of this is. We won't know how effective it is for many years to come, but we're going to give it a go. So I'm just up here putting some mortar on to hold these down. I'm using my spray bottle to just wet the bricks before I start. That's so that it doesn't absorb too much moisture from the mortar, because I need the mortar to stay wet quite a long time so that the lime actually carbonates, and that's how it turns solid rather than drying out. That's not what we want to happen. We don't want it to dry out. I've then also got my trowel just to spread it out and get it all flat, and a wooden mallet which I'm using very gently because I don't want to crack any of the slates, just to try and get it all flat and make sure that it's got a really good seal with the mortar underneath and there aren't lots of air pockets in the way.
So while Lydia's being brave and industrious up on the scaffold, I'm going to be here mixing some lime mortar. That's great. So I'm left with this sort of powdery fine sand, basically, kind of mixture. I think the idea is that every sand granule should be sort of coated with the powder of the lime. The next step is to add some water. I'm just going to put a dollop in, and it's a bit like making a cake. I'm now going to mix it into a sort of breadcrumby mix. Great, so that's kind of like wet sand. Adding a bit more water. Oh, it's not easy on the back, that's for sure. Great, well that's looking a lot more like mortar. Okay, time to take that to Lydia. And haul. Pull and pull. Oh, heave. Let go. Great.
We've finished rebuilding the chimney and I'm now ready to put the chimney pot on. But the chimney pot is very heavy and it's very large, and I don't really know if it's going to fit on the top of this chimney or whether it would just fall down it. So I've taken a piece of cardboard and drawn around the base of the chimney, and I've drawn an inner circle to show me how thick the wall of the chimney is as well. So if I put this on the top of my chimney here, there's only a very tiny overlap, which suggests that my chimney pot could just about balance on the edge, and some chimneys are built like that, but I run the risk that it might tip or that it might just fall down the chimney while I'm working on it. So to make it safer, Joe has cut some slates for me using the angle grinder, and we're just going to put these on so they form an extra lip over the edge of the brick and narrow the opening slightly. I've got it supported on all four sides, and actually the majority of the circumference of the chimney pot is being supported here, and I think that will be sufficiently strong with these natural slates if I put some cement mortar underneath. I'll then put the final slate on this side, which is a second flue which we're not going to use. I'll just put a whole slate on here, and then I'm going to cover the whole lot with what we call flaunching. So a cement mix with some gravel and sand, a little bit like a concrete mix rather than a mortar mix, a kind of cross between the two, and that will form a nice cap to shed all the water off when it rains.
So thank you very much for watching all the way through this video so far, but Lydia, this is amazing. Look at it. You've got a chimney.
Yeah, it's quite incredible that we actually did it. We weren't quite sure how it would work out.
Yeah, and so what have you learnt so far?
So I used lime mortar between the bricks and cement mortar on the flaunching, and they act and feel really quite different. I'd got so used to the lime mortar that when we did our first mix of cement mortar, we messed it up a bit. So yeah, definitely learning the difference between those two and how to handle them.
That's great. And what are you most pleased with?
I'm really pleased with how it looks. I love that we salvaged the bricks. Joe spent a long time cleaning them all up, and I think it looks so much better than if we'd used new bricks or even old bricks from somewhere else. These are the original bricks from this chimney, and I think the range of colour here is just beautiful.
I mean, I really think that the slightly wambliness of everything and the old bricks, it really makes it look like an old chimney, and that was important to us, that we didn't lose the character of what was already here. Yes,
all of the wobbliness is definitely intentional.
It's intentional wobbliness. Okay, right. So in the next episode, what are we doing?
Well, we're going to reveal the original fireplace down underneath this chimney, so that we are able to clean that up and see what it looks like, and then install a wood burning stove there so we can heat our house.
Ah, winter is coming and we need some warmth. So thank you so much for watching. This has been an incredible episode, an incredible journey, and I'm really looking forward to being able to get down the scaffold again. It's a bit frightening up here. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you again in a future video.
Bye.
Bye.